Awesome. Thanks so much, Jenny.
Thank you.
And welcome, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to, just continue our green room conversation out here. And excited to learn more about Whale Seeker. I think the name definitely catches a lot of people's attention.
Yep, we make socks.
But also its unique use of AI. So I know through chatting with you and research, you started in 2018.
Yep.
So not too long ago. And to date, you've detected more than 108,000 marine mammals.
It's closer to 200,000 now.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think we collected that long ago. So you've
No,
had
yes.
a busy last few months.
We have been busy.
Which is 112% more, correct me if I'm wrong, whales in conventional methods. So I guess we got just under 9 minutes to learn why this is so crucial to the biodiversity of our oceans. But before we get to that, Emily, getting to know you a little bit more, you have a pretty unique background. And as we talked about, you don't really fit into any of the boxes that a lot of folks will categorize different companies. So I'd love for you to tell us, to start off with, a bit about your experience and how you ended up working at the intersection of both AI as well as biodiversity.
Thanks, Leah. Yeah, so I'm a community ecologist and worked most of my life in ecology and quantitative ecology. So I have a real soft spot for data, good data, messy data, seeing the trends in really messy real world data. And I married a marine biologist. And in marine biology, the statistics are generally quite poor because there are not very many replicates. And really, Whale Seeker came out of frustration, where my husband and I worked together on a WWF Arctic Species Grant, going through aerial images to better understand and the Canadian archipelago in a marine protected area where the narwhal critical habitat was, and if there was any area that warranted special monitoring or extra protection. And in just looking at all of those images, I found that there was a huge variability in what is a whale. So most people, anyone can look at a beautiful classical silhouette of a whale and say, that's a whale. Or there's nothing there. But it's really the nuance in between that is really important. And so I'll stop. But we created Whale Seeker because I was frustrated. We needed a way to get through aerial images faster. Many different industries need to detect whales. They didn't have a tool to do this in a very precise space and time. The data was not standardized, and this is the data that we are basing hundreds of millions of dollars of business decisions on, and we need to back up and make sure that the data we're using is timely and correct.
So I'd love to get more into that. We're using a lot of business decisions on, because I think a lot of people hear whales and they think, we talked about this, of
right.
Great, but why does that matter? So one, I'd love to point out that you are the only B Corp in the world that is using AI for wildlife. And
right.
So it is definitely a new space. But what sort of impact does AI have when compared to classic methods to track marine mammals? But then also I'll put a second question, how are you putting that data collection to work? So getting to that crux of the question of why does this matter?
Right. So the reason that we need good data for marine mammals, so the normal way of detecting marine mammals visually is human eyes. So that's human eyes out of an airplane window, human eyes looking at a computer screen, human eyes behind binoculars. And the detection rates are as variable as the training is for the people. Even within a day, the quality of detections can change because someone gets tired after lunch or they want to answer a call or something. And so we need to be sure that we are standardizing those data, and we can't do that with just an army of marine mammal observers. We need to get AI in there somehow to standardize for the different use cases. But also we need to get through a lot of that data so that, for example, if we're thinking about dynamic shipping lanes so that it doesn't interfere with range changes for whales, we need to have data that is of this year, which is not of last decade. And that's not a joke. That is where a lot of the marine mammal data is very old that we're basing new policies on. But also, a lot of this data isn't in the hands of the users. It's in the hands just of the policymakers. And then the users get that data distilled with a decision. But really, the ports, the conservation organizations, the ship captains, they all should have access to very good data as well so that they can make more decisions that will benefit the ocean but not, take away from their business. Yeah.
I'd love then to learn more a bit about those users. I know from working in the clean tech space, monetizing a biodiversity venture can sometimes be a challenge. I know we recently talked about your great financials, so one, love for you to paint the picture of who are those customers, who are you currently working with? Mm-hmm. And then maybe just a bit of words of advice for any entrepreneurs working in this area or frankly, folks that are just really interested. What have you done to grow and scale so quickly since 2018? Right,
so we're, I won't say lucky, but we're in a position where we built the tool that we needed. So we were already the users of our tools. So we were able to engage with our clients in multiple different industries. So we know that in energy, it's mandated to, in offshore energy, it's mandated to detect marine mammals. If there are offshore builds or coastal builds, then you need to detect and make sure that you don't harm them. But there are very few tools for doing this, or very few tools for quantifying ocean biodiversity besides, eDNA. And so what tools do ocean, not just the shareholders have, but the stakeholders have to be able to engage and have some agency and make some of these decisions for themselves? And so that's where we fit. We fit in the increasing need for quantitative, verifiable data for carbon credits, biodiversity credits, SDG, ESG reporting, the TNFD framework that is coming, that is mostly in Europe, but coming more to North America. So there are a lot of either financial or insurance or legal methods that are mandating better ocean data, but there are very few tools to get those measurements, and that's where we lie. So with those regulations, can I assume correctly that it's a lot of European customers and maybe not too many Canadians at this point? We have customers in Europe. We have customers, the government of Canada is one of our main customers. We also subcontract a lot for environmental consulting companies globally where environmental impact assessments are part of their mandate. So yeah, we work with conservation organizations, government, different industry, mostly working with them all together. Awesome. And I guess a bit more on that is a conversation we've had a lot today of adoption of AI within Canada. So with our 34 seconds that are left, is there anything that you would change to accelerate that? So maybe it's a policy change, or what would you like to see here at home in Canada to make sure that happens? What I would like to see in Canada is that Canada has been really great at supporting research and development for entrepreneurs and is really proud of their AI ecosystem, but they're not great at helping those SMEs and become clients of those SMEs. And so I would like to see more buy-in from the government to use all of the R&D that they have been helping to support build. Awesome. Well, it's flashing in front of me. So if you would like to learn more, you have a booth upstairs, correct? Yes, we have a booth upstairs. Happy to chat. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks.